George Will is here, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist, NewsNation senior contributor. Good to see you, sir. We appreciate it. We can all agree that the facts, the set of facts surrounding the documents in Mar-a-Lago and in the Penn Biden Center are vastly different. But how are the optics not a huge problem for Joe Biden?
Well, they are huge because as soon as the documents were found at Mar-a-Lago, the usual suspects mounted their high horses and galloped off with a cloud of rhetoric about what a threat to national security this was, prejudging a lot of things that we'll learn about later when the special counsel has had his say. So the optics are just terrible, and you can make all the distinctions you want, and they're important ones. That there was a much larger quantity of documents at Mar-a-Lago than there were evidently in Mr. Biden's office. And Mr. Biden, people instantly turned them over to the archives, although interestingly, they didn't tell us for 2 months that they'd done this. And Mr. Trump, with his usual self-defeating truculence, obstructed all the way. Leaving all that aside, the optics are two presidents, two sort of similar episodes, and politically that's deadly.
I think about what you said, if curiously they didn't tell us about these documents. This is the White House that says they want to be the most transparent, the most honest, the most un-Trump-like White House ever. That's what we were promised. Yet, the lawyers found these documents on November 2nd, which was before the midterm elections, which means they turned them over. They alerted, evidently, people within the White House. And yet, they continued to make proclamations and political points about President Trump's classified documents, knowing that President Biden did, in some ways, at least surfacely, the very same thing. It sort of smacks of ultimate hypocrisy.
November 2 was the day before the elections, and I don't think they wanted to muddy their election eve message with this. But what this means is that Mr. Smith, the special counsel who's investigating Mr. Trump's Mar-a-Lago cache of these documents, will necessarily have to include this in a display of even-handedness, include the Biden episode. And that means the message is going to be muddy no matter what happens.
Live pictures, we look at Air Force One sitting on the tarmac in Mexico as the president is about to head home. You think about so many of the political scandals exist, and this happens on both sides, right? Is that the scandal breaks, as it did with President Biden yesterday, and immediately you hear nothing to see here. We did everything right. We instantly turned the documents over. We're very sorry for this mistake. President Biden knew nothing about them, blah, blah, blah. Hillary Clinton email server story breaks. Oh, don't worry, there's no classified information on my email server. So sorry for this mere lapse in perfunctory records keeping. Can this White House believe that the press is going to be as dogged about finding the truth to the classified documents at the Penn Biden Center as they would be about going after the documents at Mar-a-Lago?
Of course not. But we're used to this double standard, and we're used to this whataboutism. When someone on one side does X, someone says, well, someone on Y did something about the same thing. This is the kind of tit-for-tat, rote, reflexive rhetoric we get, which is why I suspect this will, A, not have a long life, not long legs on this story, and we'll see something like it again.
Yeah, no, it's right. One of these stories that just sort of goes away, as we like to say. Whatever happened to. Real quick, I want to get you on this. The paper you write for, the Washington Post. Russian trolls on Twitter had little influence on the 2016 voters, which is certainly a big difference than what we were told for so many years, that it was the Russian troll farms and the Kremlin that got Donald Trump elected. Why are we just figuring this out now, 6 years after the election?
Well, we sometimes have to learn by just watching the Russians stumble all over themselves. Leland, we believed the Russian ground forces were terrific until February 24th when they crossed into Ukraine. And soon we saw the pictures of the 40-mile-long convoy out of gas and with deflated tires. It turns out that almost everything the Russians do is crude and irrationally administered. That's why we're lucky, in a sense, that our opponent is an authoritarian regime, because authoritarian regimes are stupid because they have no feedback and no competition, and their propaganda efforts are just as clumsy.
No, that's an excellent point. It is good to see you, sir, as always. Thank you. On a Tuesday, no less, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.